On this episode of DC on Screen, Superman Legacy officially adds Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and Metamorpho, complete with casting announcements for each. We're also talking about a litany of answers from James Gunn concerning Legacy, Creature Commandos, Doom Patrol, and an exciting update regarding that sequel to the Keanu Reeves Constantine film, right after these words from our mystery sponsors. Welcome into DC on Screen, the podcast bringing you news and reviews from the DC multiverse on film and television since 2015. I am your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Yeah, hello.
How you doing, man? We haven't seen you in a minute.
No. I'm excited.
Are you?
It feels foreign at this point. I'm just, knocking the rust off a little bit.
Fair enough. Before we jump into the news, I do want to thank our patrons. We couldn't really do this without you. So if you want to be like Eric Norris, go to patreon.com/DCOnScreen. $1 a month gets you every episode ad-free, and $5 or more gets you that, plus all of our exclusive content that we may put up when we're feeling special sporty. It's currently the best way to support the show.
As regularly as we can.
Yeah.
But damn it.
It is the best way to support the show. You can also send a one-time donation on PayPal through the link on our site. And one more quick note for those of you who listen to us on Stitcher. The Stitcher app and website will discontinue operations on August 29th, 2023. Yeah. So please remember to find us and follow us on Apple or Spotify or Podcast Addict or wherever. We're everywhere.
I am also currently in a search for a new catcher of choice because that was mine. And
I've been playing around with Podcast Addict, honestly, and I'm liking them so far.
I think it might be that where I land. I think I used that one. So, I'm annoyed because at some point Stitcher did an update that was the worst thing I've ever seen. They basically took everything that was unique and valuable about that app and threw it out the window. Mm-hmm. So I had to do a little tour then when I looked for a new catcher and just didn't come up with anything that I just was in love with. I want to say Addict is where I landed, but it might have been Cast as well. Pocket Cast. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
I got to go back and do that tour again now.
Yeah.
I kind of, all right, so pro tip here, and I'm sure any of y'all know this. You got to do the thing where you export an OPML file, but then you got to make sure that whatever catcher you're picking up on can import one. So, plan ahead. You got about 6 weeks, and I keep meaning to get to that, but I keep procrastinating because it sounds like a pain in the ass, and I feel like I'm going to end up on the night of the 29th just trying to cram this in. Yeah.
See, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, you can export all your shit so that you don't have to resubscribe to everything and mark as played all the episodes that you've ever used or listened to.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, it's cool. But you got to make sure it actually works. So you don't want to do some experiments before the 29th.
Yeah. No, I had not even. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Well, glad to help you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I use Google Podcasts for a couple things that just have an RSS feed proper. Mm-hmm. Which, incidentally, by the way, if anyone wants to, it's a decent place to catch an RSS feed like ours, where you don't have to listen to the ads if you're a Patreon. But it doesn't do the import. So I can't just consolidate like I was hoping. I gotta go full circle. Start from scratch here on the. Gotta get back to the drawing board.
Fair enough.
And who knows what's out there now? I looked at this earlier because I was trying to look at a couple things about the exports and imports just to see if there was a good list of which programs could do it well, just to roll out everything else, And there's a Google related search, and one of them I think was G Podcast or G Potter, I want to say it was. And it just looks like a purple thing with headphones on and some googly eyes, and the purple thing just kind of looks like an upside down Tesla symbol at best, but just looks like a butt plug with headphones on and googly eyes. I don't even know what the fuck they're selling here.
Uh-huh.
No idea what the plan is.
So yeah, I'm going to have to ask you to explain that to all that exporting stuff again to me. Because I'm a dullard, and I'm not going to remember any of that.
Stitcher has put up a lot of instructions for anyone who wants to. It's on their like farewell fact, they call it.
Well, I haven't used Stitcher in forever, so
I know I have though. But like if you want to know how they do it, it's relatively simple on website or app.
gotcha.
You make an export file. I think it's an Excel sheet, I want to say, and yeah, you just it may not be an Excel sheet, but anyway, it's basically a series of values and like a CSV file used to be.
Mm-hmm.
You import that, and then the new catcher just knows what you've listened to, when, and all that stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
At the very least, it typically knows what you've already listened to and what shows you're subscribed to. And we'll catch it unless there's something that's like, specific to this app or whatever. So if you did have anything that was on Stitcher that was like Earwolf or Stitcher Premium specific, then yeah, you may have to try to find that on SiriusXM apparently.
Wow. Okay.
That is the reason, is the parent company wants to make the SiriusXM app podcast part of the app a one-stop shop and get rid of everything that's contributing. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So we have a strike going on.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk about whether you should be boycotting movies, TV, conventions, podcasting, etc., in solidarity with the WGA and SAG-AFTRA, who are striking. And for me, I am going to go by famed author and SAG/WGA expert Neil Gaiman, who's been answering these questions online. He says, unless you are SAG-AFTRA member promoting an actual show that you are actually in online, you are not in violation of any rules. Anyone who tells you otherwise, trying to persuade people not in SAG-AFTRA that they are crossing a picket line by putting up cosplay videos or whatever is trolling people and hoping to upset them for their own purposes, which are not those of the unions. Someone asked, Mr. Gaiman, would it be crossing the picket line if I saw Barbie in theaters, or should I wait until the strike has been resolved? He says, no, it is not crossing a picket line to go and see anything. Nobody from any of the unions has asked for a boycott of anything yet. And he retweeted Ben Padden, who said, continuing to go see your movies, watch your shows, stream your favorites is one of the best ways to support the WGA and SAG-AFTRA right now. This content has been made and it makes money. It helps immensely to show the studios the value of the work that writers and actors do. If you don't go, it hurts writers and actors. Studios could say, well, actually, Barbie only made X amount of dollars. Oppenheimer only made Y amount of dollars. Only so many thousands of people watched Good Omens 2. Obviously, there isn't enough money to go around.
I mean, yeah, I get it. My first take on the boycotting, and this requires a ton of consideration that I'm not putting thought into right this second, but not that I haven't tried, just that I'm not capable. I don't know the ins and outs well enough to consider this fully, but they're fighting for residuals, and it's one of the major points. Was on the last strike as well. So it doesn't make any sense. Like if we're talking about a bunch of people who aren't taking a current paycheck, maybe don't not watch or download or go to the theater for that one thing that they actually might get some money on. It just seems like we're going to be cutting out a small stream of income while they're not getting an active paycheck. That just doesn't seem necessary.
Yeah.
Also, I would be a little afraid that if we really did just all decide, fuck it, we're just going to ban Hollywood. I'm more worried at that point that Hollywood would decide that it doesn't have any real value. They need to cut costs, and the AI thing would be completely where we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, fuck it, we can't support any of this shit. Cut all the waste. It's self-checkout from now on, the entire process.
Yeah, and that's exactly what that guy was saying. Like,
we need to show it has value.
Yeah, you can't just boycott everything and then be like, well, because they will absolutely come back and say like, well, we're not making any money. Look at this.
Yeah,
and that'll help their case.
And they won't shut it down because that's how they make money too. But they will streamline so hard that it will not be what we recognize as Hollywood when we come back.
Yeah. So
again, fresh take. Sorry if I'm missing a ton of fucking variables.
Right.
There's a lot going on here.
To me, I would rather do a podcast and put out information like that to people who haven't heard it before, and have a fun conversation with people who are interested in this stuff, as I'm not getting like any kind of actual real payoff of this.
No. I mean, our show, thankfully, because of Patreons and a couple of ads, like pays for itself, but we don't really like, this isn't like a paycheck substitution for me.
Right. So it's we're not in violation of anything with SAG-AFTRA or WGA.
No,
there's no reason.
They're welcome to come recruit us and give me a couple of screen creds and stuff, so I can join the picket line on Zoom or something from across the country.
Right. I'll be picketing in front of the Ollies.
Yeah, we can do like that community thing where you get the little iPad on the roller. Well, I'll be happy to just, guys, just plug me in. Plug me in. I'm gonna put it on standby and take lunch, but it's about to run out of batteries. Plug me in. I'll keep rolling with you here in about an hour.
Yeah. So, that's where we're landing on that. The Flash, officially the biggest superhero flop in history.
I think there are factors to be considered there when we say that, but I get it. I get the numbers. I think there are more considerations to those numbers than there were to the numbers they're being compared to.
Now, I'm very curious, though, because, I've seen so many different reports saying that it had a $36 million promotional budget. It had a $60 million promotional budget. There's an article here that's saying a $150 million promotional budget. So I don't know what to believe.
It feels more like 30 sounds right. That 150 is, go suck a tailpipe. There's no fucking way they spent 150 million on this.
I have no idea. It doesn't seem feasible to me.
That movie snuck out. It wasn't announced.
But it has dropped out of the top 10. It's only made, as of yesterday, $263 million at the box office worldwide.
Yeah.
That is not good.
And I mean, that's going to have to do to some extent with, like, by the time this is, our episode's produced, it will be available to buy.
Mm-hmm.
And I will. I'll buy it and I'll watch it again happily. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it's not, dude, when you announce like 2 weeks, I think it was, after the theatrical run, that, oh yeah, in like 3 weeks you can just buy this online. I mean, why even bother running it for the rest of the 3 weeks?
Yeah. You're killing its legs by doing that. And they're doing that based on projections, but there are people who would have gone to see it later on because they just spent a bunch of money taking their kids to go see Spider-Verse. They just spent a bunch of money going to see that Pixar movie. They may have wanted to wait a couple of weeks and then go take their kids to The Flash. You are murdering any kind of hope for legs when you announce shit that early.
Whatever the tail end of that graph was going to be, you just chopped it the hell off. And I get it. But I've also made this argument a couple times online, just in Twitter, various formats. But like, just this whole it only made so much on box office, or like in box office opening weekend, so it's a failure. I'm tired of that narrative. I think it doesn't make sense anymore. Historically, we have turned a corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit now. I don't know what new metric should be used, but we've used that for so long. I mean, especially before COVID, that we're used to it. It's still where we think we're gonna say, where we all think the conversation is gonna go back to, but it's just not. Things just aren't like they were before.
And it's funny, like Indy kind of flopped, the new Indy movie.
Yeah.
And I've seen
did not make much more money at all, and comparative to its budget, less.
I haven't dug into it, but I've seen competing headlines saying Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning has a disappointing opening for the weekend, and then a few scrolls down, it's like Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning soars to victory and unprecedented opening. What are y'all talking about?
That's part of it too. Is I'm frustrated by the back and forth in the media. I don't think there's a cohesive idea about how to talk about these things anymore. Like between sources, between Variety or THR or something. Like I don't think they have. Like if you got a few journalists, like a couple journalists from each major publication, put them in a room, I don't think they would have a consensus at the end of a 24-hour conversation about how to deal with this anymore. We're just in some limbo period where our advice remains the same. Go fucking watch the movie and see if you like it. It's all that matters.
Yeah.
Your dopamine at the end of the day is the only fucking thing that matters. Go watch the movie.
I mostly agree with that. Yeah.
If you don't like it, great. You'll probably still have a couple of nice moments. Most movies that I've hated had a couple of nice moments. And God forbid you actually like it.
But yeah, as you said, The Flash is coming out on VOD, video on demand,
today,
July 18th.
As of when you hear this.
No. Well, maybe as you hear this. Who knows when you listen. But
Well,
July
we
18th,
recorded at
I'll
like
say.
8:30 p.m., so I'm guessing it's not going to have a turnaround of 3 hours.
They haven't said when it's going to show up on Max yet, but it does. It will run you $24.99 when it hits Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, and the other major digital platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And also,
Weirdos with voodoo.
I don't know what this means exactly.
Isn't that voodoo? Yeah.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's like the third major platform. I think it's VUDU. Can't remember.
Oh, right. Voodoo. Yeah, I've got that. I was thinking voodoo. Like, what are we talking about? Like strangling chickens and shaking them over a corpse or something? What the hell are we talking?
It's like at work where they were like, well, we've tracked the metrics and, we have Ask Jeeves and Bing metrics. Why? Are you trying to meter whether anyone has ever used it?
Yeah.
And then what really cracked me up, because of course they had Google and Bing and Ask Jeeves, and I was like, I don't think anyone's asked Jeeves anything in years, man. And then I looked at the rest of the metrics and I was like, where's Yahoo? If we're doing the weirdos, why isn't you skipped the second major one? Okay, what are y'all doing?
Yeah. Oh, man. So The Flash is becoming DC's first movie to release on Web3 the same day as traditional digital platforms.
I have no idea what those words mean.
Yeah, me either. And I read the article. It says Warner Brothers
Web3 in my life. What you got, man?
It says Warner Brothers home entertainment and content blockchain pioneer Eluvio today announced that The Flash will mark the next installment of the WB Movieverse, giving fans a chance to buy in to a Web3 movie experience beginning on July 18th. This marks the first example of a Warner Brothers movie getting the Web3 treatment at the same time as it receives its traditional digital sale date. The title is also the third WB Movieverse release following the Superman Web3 movie experience and the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring Extended Edition Web3 movie experience. WB bills the Flash Web3 movie experience as a multimedia NFT, allowing fans to own and engage with the movie in a variety of novel ways. Through dynamic menu options based on locations from the film, owners can watch the film in 4K UHD on desktop, mobile, tablet, or TV, access special features, collect key art, discover digital Easter eggs, and uncover hidden AR collectibles, as well as sell the experience in a community marketplace beginning on August 1st, 2023. I don't understand anything about NFTs.
Honestly, I've been holding the bridge of my nose in like the finger pinching motion as though I pulled up my glasses since the word blockchain. Because as soon as you said that, oh fuck, they're making an NFT out of fucking Flash. They are. That's what's happening. They're going to try to make this a unique experience where, because it's digital, you can have unique experiences like the Easter eggs and stuff that you get a little Flash fucking GIF or some shit that nobody else got. I don't know. But that's the idea, is to have your own representative copy. It's, my man, this is still an NFT. Just don't, guys. Just don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't. And I won't.
I like my funds fungible.
NFTs really take the fun out of fungible.
They do. They're sagible after they fail.
So we've got some continued clarifications. It's really just James Gunn kind of repeating himself, honestly. But someone's asked if Blue Beetle will be part of James Gunn's universe, and he says yes. Blue Beetle and a handful of other characters will continue on in the DCU, even though the first DC Studios movie is Superman Legacy. The first DC Studios project is the animated TV show Creature Commandos, which we already knew. All of that.
All of that.
Did you watch the new Blue Beetle trailer?
I did.
How are you feeling about it, man?
I wish they hadn't made it.
Why is that, man?
It did nothing for me. Like, I liked the first one fine. This is going to be a pretty basic film about a superhero origin story. They haven't given me anything so far that's going to be anything different. Like, all the second one did was give me a couple scenes that I'm like, cool. Well, I was going to watch that eventually, so great. I'm like, I'm going to watch this movie. I'm probably going to enjoy it. But it's no one showed me why we've broken ground here, and I don't think we are.
Nah.
And it is absolutely going to, quote, fail, according to all the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Hard time to get excited about something like that. And I hate that for
agree.
Blue Beetle.
I agree. And you know what? If I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, okay, well, all of the salient action points that you presented in the first trailer are here.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing of interest that I saw in this one that was just and it is for those of you who don't know who Blue Beetle is. When the suit says, "I can make anything you imagine,"
Mm-hmm.
okay, good point for the general audiences. Still leaning on George Lopez in this trailer. I give no shits about George Lopez. I don't like him.
No, I'm completely neutral on him. I have nothing for or against him. He's neither here nor there for me.
Mm-hmm.
You are right, though. It probably does lay out a little more of the exposition for what the suit does for GA.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I'm just glossing over that entirely. Yeah, I know. I mean, that was probably a big scene for some people who have no idea about the character, where he just that's right, you're a genius, and jumps off the roof.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's just, I don't know. We're too deeply mired, I should say, not well mired. This kind of bullshit.
Yep.
I've seen Brave and the Bold. Thank you very much. I know how this works.
Yeah. So Zolo Maraduena, the star of Blue Beetle, said, I think if you're a DC fan, there's going to be more than just one character that you recognize. I can tell you that.
Cool.
And so I don't know if that is a tease for DC cameos as far as superheroes, or if it's just going to be hey, here's George Lopez. You know him.
Yeah. No, and to his point, let me not just completely shit on the trailer house here. One, I think you had a good point that for GA that was more explanation, and they probably do need that going in. If you've just never heard of this character in your life, and your date wants to see it or some shit. But two, you know what? If there are surprises like that, don't fucking tell me.
Yeah,
I think DC should have learned that lesson several movies ago. You don't have to give away the big thing, man. Just let them watch the movie. Let us watch the movie.
Yep.
Just give me enough to get me in the theater.
I'll go see it. It's my due diligence at this point. I won't lie. If I was not doing this podcast, I would not go see Blue Beetle in the theater at this point. I just wouldn't. I'd wait for it to come out on streaming. On Max for free.
I think I would. What is it, early August? Second week of August, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably still would, but mostly because I really do like Blue Beetle as a character, especially Jaime's.
Yeah, I mean, I like the character. The movie just doesn't look interesting to me at all, really. There's a couple of bits.
Yeah. It does genuinely just look like another origin story, and great. Like I said, I'm sure I'll enjoy it. Deadpool was just another fucking origin story, but it was fun.
But it was phenomenal.
Yeah. I have no reason to think this can't, be a good movie. I just didn't need that second trailer.
Yeah. Let's jump into some Superman Legacy stuff. Vanity Fair, not Variety. Vanity Fair and James Gunn confirmed that 3 DC heroes will be coming to Superman Legacy. We're talking about Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl, Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific, and Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner / Green Lantern.
I'm going to sum up mine and your previous conversation in one aspect. I don't know the first 2. I really don't.
Yeah.
I've seen the one dude, Mr. Terrific's guy in First Class. I don't know him. I just don't know him. People are excited, though, as you put it. And that's great. I do know the other guy.
We know Nathan Fillion.
That was the headline for me.
Yeah, I am excited to see Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. It's a really interesting way to make him a live-action Green Lantern, because he's played Hal Jordan a couple of times, at least.
And looks so Hal Jordan-y.
Well, he did 20 years ago.
Oh, I mean, old Hal Jordan. That's a thing.
Yeah, okay. I mean, Kingdom Come happened, yeah.
Yeah.
So
just
someone
thicker dude, broad shoulders, brown hair, thick brown hair. It's just kind of. Well, Hal has black hair and a lot of. It depends on who's coloring him, I guess.
No, he's got brown hair.
Is it brown?
Kyle Rayner has black.
Kyle
hair.
definitely has black. I'd be mad to see him have anything but black hair. That's for sure.
So someone asked James Gunn if he was going to give Nathan Fillion a bowl cut, and he says, giving my old pal Nate a bowl cut might have been my primary reason for casting him.
I did think about that. Whoever brought it up in one of the comments on that Variety article, they brought up the bowl cut. I didn't see Gunn's comment. That's fantastic. But
yeah,
I just thought about how, like, you know how there's this kind of thing in LA, I suppose, or wherever you're shooting that, like, sometimes I just have this image, and I've heard stories that revolve around something similar, so I'm not making this up. Of, like, you see a friend of yours, and they just, for some reason, have, like, a Fu Manchu, facial hair or something all of a sudden, or a bowl cut in this case, and you're like, I know that wasn't a personal choice. What role? Who did this to you? What'd you agree to? Like, we live in, like, central Alabama with not much happening. We got McConaughey bouncing around right now, but other than that, there's not much like this happening. I don't have somebody wander in. Like, when somebody wanders into my workplace and has made a giant decision like that, they made that decision.
Yeah.
Oh, you cut off 2 foot of hair. I actually saw that today.
2 foot of hair.
Not even joking about the dimensions here. 2 feet worth of hair.
So, do you have any moral, ethical issues with Nathan Fillion being cast in this?
No, really don't.
Because there was all that stuff about how he was, like, abusive to his co-star on the thing, on the Rookie, whatever that show, and then there was the fact that he said he would work with Joss Whedon again in a second, like last year.
I haven't even heard about the Rookie
about a
thing,
year ago.
So I'll leave my judgment suspended on that one because that's the first I've heard of that one. I don't have a Google alert for this guy. The Whedon thing is like, man, you hadn't worked with this guy for years, and I'm sure it looked different to you then, but things have changed. Just feels like one of those things where he was trying to say, like, yeah, when I knew him, it was this way. I don't know. I don't like the optics either, but I don't think it's going to be like a throw him out the window kind of thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, they're friends, and also Nathan Fillion's a guy, so I doubt he
did not get
dealt
the same
with all
treatment
that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But he's not even like, even from those days, from the old days, he's not the first person who had mixed feelings about how that went down. I think there's a lot of people from that era of Whedon's career that didn't see the last part. And I don't know. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong on that one. It's just, I kind of, on a basic level, understand, like, you think you know this guy and you kind of want to stand up for him, but you also don't know everything that the other people are saying. And that's hard to vet, especially when you're involved in the situation.
Yeah.
I'm not forgiving, how's it put? I'm not condoning or condemning, but I understand.
Yeah. And, I'm not one of these people who, judges someone solely on their friends. Because I have had some really shitty friends in my life who, they have their issues. I disagree with them vehemently.
Yeah.
I don't think they should have done
we have 600 episodes of some shit. And you hate me on like a base level.
Every night, speaking of voodoo, I set my Jason doll on fire.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think
it's really costly. That's where most of the Patreon money has gone recently. Actually, you've had to downgrade to paper dolls, just cutouts, really.
Yeah, but no, I think everyone has a slightly different perspective, sometimes vastly different perspective, based on their lived experience with that person. And they choose to remain friends with those people because they feel bad for them, because they're like, well, we know about this trauma nobody else does, or we know, there's all this bullshit. And I don't know. I kind of feel like people are just far too eager to destroy a person's life over perceived wrongs. Now, with Whedon, it sounds like it's time for him to go.
Yeah. That's the throw the whole man out thing to some extent. And on the one hand, just as a huge cultural commentary, like, yeah, sometimes that's the way. Someone actually reveals themselves, and maybe it's time to kind of look at them with new eyes and go, oh, that's who you actually are. Mm-hmm. And, maybe do throw the whole man out. And then other times, I don't know. I mean, I get it. Hate to sound wishy-washy and not have like a distinctive affirmative plan for it, but no one does, so I don't feel that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, we've gotten it wrong too, I'm sure.
Yeah, sure. I think,
People that I
give
wish
people
we'd
room.
come down on more, or vice versa. That looking back, a couple of years later, you're like, yeah, well, they were right about this guy.
Mm-hmm. That's why, you got to give people space, especially a space to make mistakes, because, honestly, the internet is telling me that everybody is bad for one reason or another all the time. Like, every time I sign on, there's like, oh, it's the, Patton Oswalt is over party. Why? Because he took a picture with Dave Chappelle. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look, here's Patton saying, I disagree with Dave's views, but I hope I can change them.
Yeah.
Okay. That doesn't sound bad. No, fuck him.
I go back and forth too. I used to have this conversation with my parents. I know it's getting into some childhood stuff here, but like the same viewpoint.
I think everything gets into childhood stuff, whether we not acknowledge it or not.
It's true. We, like, as I said, we peddle in escapism. So, you're basically, if you're our age or even anywhere close to it, mid-20s or later, and you're watching a bunch of comic book stuff so thoroughly that you're listening to our podcast, you probably are trying to recorrect some childhood trauma to some extent. And the other side of that is people who just actually had so good a childhood that they don't have any shame about doing stuff like that, where there's a whole environment of people who think this is childish. Like, stepping back, one, it's not childish. I've gone over this point many times. These are modern myths and gods, and this is literature on its base level. Like, we literally just had myths about Greek gods before, so like, fuck off. But in the current environment, you have to have some kind of trauma. But I used to, mess with my parents all the time about this. I know it's some, like, base level fucking elementary school theology, but my parents would, I just don't want you to hang out with so-and-so. They seem like so-and-so. Jesus hung out with thieves and prostitutes. Like,
well, you're not Jesus.
Yeah, that's this. Well, I'm not Jesus. Well, you told me to be like him. They're not actually influencing me. I'm not a thief or a prostitute. Nor did I get suspended last week. Well, he did.
Right.
Yeah, and I told him it was a shit idea. Watch your language. No one cares.
Yeah.
You're grounding me for knowing someone that got suspended. Fuck off. My high school class was 360 people or something. I knew a lot of people. Varying degrees of moral aptitude.
Maybe behavioral aptitude.
Yeah, true. But no, I mean, ultimately with him, I don't know. I'd love to be able to sit down and have a heart-to-heart with him, but short of that, I don't know there's enough out there for me to get on the cancel bus with him or anything.
Yeah, me either. I don't know. You just read the statements from various sources and shit, and I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. I don't know. We'll see. I'm like, all right, Nate, I got my eye on you.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I have no idea what you're talking about with the rookie stuff, so maybe that would sway me. I'm short that information completely. And always open to conversations on these things.
Sure, me too. All right, so a lot of people, because Anthony Kerrigan got announced as Metamorpho.
Yeah.
For Superman Legacy, which is fantastic.
God, damn, that's good.
Super excited about that.
Yeah.
Anthony Kerrigan, who played the Mist on the Flash TV show, and he was Mr. Zaz on Gotham, and most famously, NoHo Hank. NoHo Hank. Hey, guys.
Barry.
On Barry, yes. He's playing Metamorpho. I'm really excited about that, but of course, with these announcements comes people saying, oh, it just feels bloated. It feels bloated. They haven't shot a frame. Shut the hell up.
Yeah.
So people have asked James Gunn about it. Why are so many DC heroes appearing in a Superman film? He says, they fit the story I'm telling. Story always comes first. And he does say that the primary story of the film most definitely revolves around Superman and Lois. He says, we're entering a world where superheroes exist and have existed for quite a while. They are a part of one side of his world, just like Lois and Jimmy are a part of another. I love that take. I'm down with that take. Let's do it. But I wasn't one of those people. I wasn't one of those people who was bashing BVS for having quick glimpses of other superheroes.
Yeah,
it's
not a huge deal.
I wasn't one of those people who were like, well, they're just rushing to Justice League. Because they had Justice League as episode 5 instead of episode 6, like Marvel? Screw you.
Yeah. I mean, still, it's not like they're rushing to anything. Like, so far they have a member of the Outsiders, a tangential member of the Justice League, an even more tangential member of the Justice League,
mm-hmm.
and a guy who mostly plays it solo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if they combined Hawkgirl and Guy Gardner to a Justice League take, that's still probably 2 minutes screen time. 4 max.
Yeah.
But like, if all these characters, everyone who's gotten screen time so far in what is probably going to be a 2.5 hour film, if you're just going to bet the farm on something, so to speak, 2.5, you betting on 2.5? You with me on that one? Kind of rough area?
Yeah, I'd say.
And 8 minutes, like a couple minutes of each of these characters. 8 minutes, dude, out of what, 150. I think you're going to be okay, guys.
Yeah.
I think you're going to be okay.
Over on Threads, Weaselcatcher asked James, I'm a little worried the film will focus too much on setting up other superhero movies. Will the other superheroes have a big impact on the story, or will they just play a small part? I still trust you'll do something clever with it because Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad felt so disconnected from everything else in their franchises. Gunn says, I have never used one movie to set up another movie. The characters are there because they help to tell Superman's story better. Not so we can set up separate projects in the franchise. Superman and Lois are the very clear protagonists.
I think I'm going to agree with him. I think after the fact, once I've seen this, I think so. I mean, and he's right. I don't think he's ever like used Guardians to set up a whole other franchise in the Marvel universe. You set it up Guardians 2 and 3. I mean, your next movie is one thing. That's very different. But he's like, he gave you the 10-year plan, guys. We don't have to speculate.
Yeah.
I'm sure this stuff will get tweaked, but come on.
And if you recall, we talked about this a few weeks ago, that article that said the Authority was going to be in Superman Legacy. And people are kind of coming at him being like, well, we know the Authority's there already. And he says, I never said the Authority would be present.
Yeah.
So now it looks like the Authority isn't in Superman Legacy. This is why you don't trust Hollywood Reporter and Variety 100%.
Yeah. More than normal. More than the others, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Never implicitly. By the
way, there was also a rumor that Daniel Craig was offered the role of Lex Luthor. Gunn says that rumor is untrue.
Not saying I'd hate it.
Gunn says Harcourt will not appear in Superman Legacy.
If only to prove a point.
Yeah, James Gunn says Jimmy Olsen will appear in Superman Legacy.
He has been very adamant that he thinks Olsen's supposed to be like part of the core.
Yeah.
Like, I think in his head it is. It's Olsen, Lois, Perry, and Clark. Like, those are the 4 main characters of what makes Clark Kent work.
Yep.
Well, Mom
John Cregan.
Pa. Depends on where we are with the timeline on Pa.
Yeah, seriously. John Cregan on Threads said, so if Superman Legacy is a workplace origin story, will you be drawing any influence from stuff like All the President's Men, The Post, State of Play, or even The Office? And James Gunn said, I did not say it was a workplace origin story. It's not. I said it takes place during Clark's earlier years at the Daily Planet. Love it. I do. I love the just like, nope, I didn't say that shit. Hold on now.
I did, and you remember, it was a few months ago now, like, you know how much more credit I give it when he says, no, I didn't say that, or no, we're not doing that, after he basically, a couple days after Zaslav said something, came out and said, no, I never said that, he's wrong. Like, the one guy that can fire you.
Yep, I love it. Someone asked for Man of Steel on Threads, asked for Superman comic suggestions. James Gunn said, All-Star Superman.
Nice.
Which I am down for. I'm not saying that he didn't say, and I'm not saying that he's basing it on that. He's actually said it's not based on All-Star Superman, but All-Star is an inspiration.
Morrison does a really good job of writing a Clark Kent that's trying to make himself look as feeble as he appears.
Yeah. And Boytopia said, will we know if Corrin Sweat Superman will be wearing trunks or not by the end of the year? James Gunn responds, and personally, I think the best way possible, not really one of my priorities.
Like, he's probably going to try a couple of designs and go from there.
I mean, they're they're already making designs with or without. He's already said, and trying to figure out what they're going to do. You know, for me personally, not a huge fan of the trunks. Also, not a fan of the not trunks. Like, I feel like Superman is weirdly naked if it's just blue down there. Like, I'm not saying they need to be underwear.
That's actually a good point. Because, like, if he doesn't have the red trunks, you feel like you're just looking at his crotch, right?
Right.
But then if he has the red trunks, you feel like you're looking at his crotch.
Well, you feel...
You see
like,
the dilemma.
Underwear on. Yeah, it's like, how does underwear make sense? Like, it's been a
like
long
now I feel
time.
like I'm staring at his underwear and I can see the bulge. But without it, I feel like he's naked and I can see the bulge.
It's been a long time since 1938 where he was like dressing up like the circus strongman or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, in those days it was like, no, I'm literally wearing tights and I'm wearing underwear so you don't see my dick.
Yeah.
All right, so in a world where we're looking at Kryptonian technology, maybe there's something else that we could do with a suit. The trunks don't make sense. But from a design perspective, and I've said this over and over again, I want that yellow. I want
You like that
red.
it breaks it up visually a little bit.
I like the design being broken up. And also, I don't want to feel like I'm looking at Superman's dick.
Yeah, I get it. Some of the middle lines that I've liked a lot is no trunks, but the red kind of belt area. So it does break it up, so it doesn't look like a jumpsuit almost. Or
Yeah. I don't like the red belt, though.
you like the yellow?
I think I do, yeah. Like a gold or yellow belt, yeah.
I can get behind all these.
I don't need it to be like a straight up belt, though. Like, I mean, that's one of the things I liked about the Zack Snyder costume, even though it did feel like I was looking at his dick. And it felt like those little lines pointing down was just like pointing at his cock, you know? But you know, whatever.
It may have been intentional. Though. Snyder specifically said a couple times that phallic imagery was intentional and real.
Right, because they were a society repressed. They were secretly obsessed with sex subconsciously because they haven't been doing natural childbirth and shit for years.
Now that we never knew that for sure about the Snyderverse version of Krypton. Like, is it just like free boning all the time, no consequences? I guess STDs might be a real thing still.
They don't seem like they're loose enough to do that. Like, they seem pretty uptight. Like, how dare you put that there?
A lot of the characters do, yeah.
That is not where we put
a lot
that.
Of them do. But then on like Krypton, there's boning. They be horny on Krypton, like the show.
Yeah, they are.
But they still have like a codex version. I forget what they call it, but they fucking.
Yeah. And on that note, let's hit a break. All right, we are back. We're still talking a little bit of movie news before we jump into TV. And we're at the portion where we're talking WBT. This is just sort of miscellaneous stuff. David Jordeo on Threads asked, James, can we confirm whether or not George Clooney is the DCU Batman? Gunn says he is not. So we've already reported on this a couple times, but people aren't hearing it. So maybe one of you have not listened to the show before. George Clooney is not the DCU Batman, for God's sake.
Although, as a gag, I fucking loved it.
I did enjoy it, and I would not be opposed to it. But
clapped and cheered in the theater because I thought that was a glorious thing to pull out. But
I can't believe he actually came back.
You know, to do just that little bit, I can believe that he thought that was that funny. I take Clooney for someone who thinks that kind of thing would be that funny.
Yeah.
And for what it's worth, I think Val, if he was healthier, would probably feel the same way.
Probably. Palm Clementif says in a recent interview with the Movie Dweeb that there is one specific character that Gunn has in mind for her. She says, we've been talking about it. It would continue doing action too. So that's for DC. You know, she played Mantis on Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing.
I'm curious. I liked her.
Here's an interesting thing from Peter Safran. Says, the good news is if you've seen nothing that we've done before, you can watch Superman Legacy. You can watch Creature Commandos. You can watch Peacemaker Season 2. And you can watch Blue Beetle. All of that. We are trying to minimize audience confusion and maximize their enjoyment. I don't think they're there yet.
On the confusion part?
Right, because Gunn has also been saying stuff like, well, Superman Legacy is the first movie, the first in the DC Studios canon. Well, that's the first movie. There's also Creature Commandos, which comes first. And then, you know, he's got Nathan Fillion over here playing Guy Gardner, and he previously played TDK in the Suicide Squad. And, like, well, is Suicide Squad canon? I guess not. But how are you going to do Peacemaker Season 2 if Peacemaker Season 1 isn't canon? Because it has to be canon.
Because
with Suicide Squad. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I'm curious to see what it'll do with the timelines here.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it does. There are many questions.
Many questions.
But in my head right now, and I encourage everyone to do this, I have questions, but we've got time, man. We've got a couple years before this is going to really start to hit.
Yeah.
They're just questions right now. It's fine. Like, I'm sure he's thinking of a lot of these. And if he's not, I'm sure that he's opened Twitter and been made to think about a lot of these. Like,
oh, yeah. And Threads.
Yeah. In the meantime, you know.
Which, by the way, we are on.
Yeah.
We are on Threads. The Instagram equivalent of Twitter.
I believe I opened an account there and haven't done a goddamn thing with it since. But yeah, but I encourage everyone to do this though. One, have faith that we have time and that you know, things have time to settle. Two, man, don't catch any feelings about it yet. Like, don't get things in your head about how it's definitely going to have to be this because he said something in 2023. You're not going to see this film until late 25 probably. It might even be 26 by the time we're done here. Like, we've got a minute. There's time to chill, enjoy the things you're going to do. You know, hell, and you know, me and you were doing this a little bit. It's like one of the pros of there being a break in new productions is like, yeah, you go catch up on some stuff you've been wanting to watch that you know you're behind on.
Yep.
Go support the writers there. Watch the things you didn't think you'd get to. Go watch a movie you didn't have time for. Buy a thing. Buy physical media, for fuck's sake. That is with the residuals that they at least got on the last round.
Yep.
Like, there's time to take advantage of this kind of stuff. So
exactly.
So.
Look. Zack Snyder's Justice League mysteriously disappeared on Max in Europe. Don't wait for it to happen in the U.S.
Yeah.
Go buy a physical copy if you haven't already.
I'm staring at mine.
I was looking at mine earlier.
Now, have I ever taken it out of the plastic? No, it's sitting right there because I have it on HBO Max. That's more convenient. Either. But the day it disappears and I'm going to watch it, motherfucker. I'm going to open this shit and we're good.
So this is exciting because this next piece of news, because there are so many people who have been complaining about the marketing team for DC and the DC movies. Two new names have joined James Gunn and Peter Safran's DC Studios. It was announced on Wednesday that Candice McDonough and Gary Barbosa will be joining DC Studios in new roles. McDonough, who has been working for Warner Brothers since 2001, will be taking on the newly created role of Executive VP of Publicity and Communications for DC Studios, and will have her overseeing the media relations, publicity, and external and employee communications within the company. Barbosa, meanwhile, would be operating as the director of integrated marketing and creative. So they've recognized there's a problem. Fingers crossed that these people are good at their jobs.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I do think the overall marketing is going to need a lot of work. I'm not even saying it's been bad altogether. Really not. Especially like in the peak of the Snyder era before it was transitioning through, 17 different CEOs or something. Yeah, but in light of what they're coming up against, given everything we just talked about, you're really going to need some people to point this in a very specific direction.
Yep, I am excited.
Yeah,
I am down for this. I want to see what happens next.
I am. I also, you pointed this out a while back. I also like being given the opportunity to breathe just a little bit before we get into it.
This is interesting. According to screenwriter Akiva Goldsman. Which is weird because he's deeply embedded in Star Trek at the moment.
Bit busy. They popping off over there.
Yeah. According to screenwriter Akiva Goldsman, he hopes to begin writing the follow-up to Constantine the second the ongoing Writers Guild of America strike ends. He says, "My pens are down, so there's nothing to do. But yeah, those are the next things I'm writing when I'm allowed to write again. And I had already begun I Am Legend 2 when we started striking, and Francis Lawrence, Keanu Reeves, and I have broken Constantine 2. I just haven't started typing yet."
I thought about this last time too, but one, that's exciting to hear that there's any legs to that right now. But two, I mean, God, how much must it suck when you have an idea, but you're part of the strike, and you really just can't get it down right now. That's part of the deal. You can privately for private projects, but if it's for something that you're actually like under contract for, can't touch it.
Because of the way the human mind works, and because of the way we work as I am a writer, I haven't produced much as far as like anything anyone knows, but I write a lot. And when you have an idea, you need to get it down.
Yeah.
I wonder if they say that, publicly and go like, we haven't started typing anything yet. It's pens down, but they're like they're writing it.
I know.
They're working on it.
I wonder if they do that too. Because I'd be tempted to. I really would be tempted to just vault some stuff and not even put it in final draft. Like, because that has timestamps. Just like actual notepads of shit.
Yeah.
And put it down as best I can and just be like, well, it would make sense if I came up with this idea now. And like, then send that PDF to somebody. That would suck for me, man. Because especially as ADD as I am, I do the same thing. Like, if I have an idea, I've got to put it down right now. Like, I've got to pick up a guitar or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. Like, I will go back and like look at files that I have and go, oh yeah, I did have that idea. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. Over to Creature Commandos, someone asked, will Creature Commandos take place in modern day, or are they going back to World War II era? Gunn says modern day.
How old do you think Weasel is?
Right. Well, I mean, I guess you could play with it. Who knows?
I mean, you can, but...
I've seen Doom Patrol. So, someone asked, Gunn, I know you've been busy with Superman Legacy, but when will we see Vigilante again? Gunn says probably before Peacemaker Season 2. So, Waller? Cool. Waller?
Yeah.
There's been a big kerfuffle and some confusion. People say, Gunn fired Finn Wittrock, who was cast as Guy Gardner for the Green Lantern show. Y'all, that Green Lantern show got canceled.
A long time ago.
Months and months ago, they said it's done. Gunn's got his own Lantern show he wants to do. Finn was not fired by James Gunn. They decided not to go forward with that particular version of the show. That was a show that Mark Guggenheim and Greg Berlanti were involved in.
Yeah.
If they were going with that, Mark Guggenheim wouldn't have been bitching a few months ago about how he hasn't been consulted by James Gunn. Of course he would have been consulted by James Gunn if they were going forward with that show.
Yeah.
So
with his show.
Right.
Pretty mandatory you do consult someone at that point.
Nathan Fillion is playing Guy Gardner. And Gunn says he will be Guy Gardner on the show as well. Nate will play Guy in all parts of the DCU. It's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be pretty straightforward.
Superman and Lois, we've got a CW executive explaining how Superman and Lois avoided cancellation. Well, they cut everything out of the show. Okay, so in a recent interview with The Wrap, CW president of entertainment Brad Schwartz explained the decision to renew Superman and Lois along with Walker, All-American, and All-American Homecoming. He says the streaming performances of the four shows, as well as the success they've had on either Netflix or Max, ultimately influenced the decision. He says it was very easy to focus on those four as our biggest shows and best performers. And then it was also easier to have conversations with CBS and Warner about how can we make these shows work for everybody. You cut out all the cast. Because there was a successful track record. CBS and Warner Brothers know what they make on them internationally, know what they make from their Netflix and HBO sales. We know how they do for us. They can project what a library of 60 or 70 episodes is going to make for them forever. You can put all the math together and be like, is there a path for us as partners? And that's really what it comes down to, y'all. That's all it really comes down to.
Yeah.
These people are interested in business. They don't give a shit, that you rub your nub to a certain ship. They don't care if, your mom had cancer and Lois's story meant something. They don't care anything about how you feel. If you aren't telling people and no one else is, and no one's, watching the damn thing, they'll cancel it because they're in it to make money.
Yeah. It's really that simple. Even the characters, like you said, you almost imagine a conversation when somebody's sitting over like a coffee and like the executive being like, yeah, I mean, I love the show. Just, I'm just curious about your opinion. Who do you think are like the core, that make this really work? well, I think it's this character, and this character. I mean, the rest are, everyone's very important. Cool. So except for the guys you just named, cut everyone, fire them tomorrow, release their contracts. Yeah. Well, what I was saying is, now you gave me the answer. I want to release them. Like, and I'm probably not play acting something that hasn't happened before.
Probably not. So pretty much everything has stopped filming, including The Sandman season 2, actor strike.
Yeah,
SAG-AFTRA, y'all.
I think the writing part was mostly done, except for on-set stuff. But you know, we all know at this point Neil's one of both, so it's not like they could have come to him and said, "Well,
yeah." And this comes from Neil. He says, SAG-AFTRA strike is on. Sandman has stopped shooting completely, along with everything else that was squeaking by without writers. I hope that the AMPTP sees reason and gets back to the table with the actors and the writers. I have no reason at this point to think they will see reason. Because they've been talking to the press and outright saying that, like, yeah, we're just going to let it go until they
crumble.
Until
we're going to let them starve and lose their houses.
Yep, that's pretty much exactly what they said. And it was funny when the writers was like, clearly they've never met a writer.
Yeah. I said something similar, like these motherfuckers have been in the ditch longer than you can imagine.
Yeah. So people have been asking James Gunn about Doom Patrol because the remainder of the episodes they have in the can have not been released. James Gunn says, I have confirmation, as I surmised, no, Doom Patrol episodes are absolutely not being shelved, even though the premiere date for the next shows has not been announced to the public. They're probably holding off, y'all, because of strikes.
Maybe. I mean,
honestly,
I think it's probably going to be that case, too. Just, if I had to pick one thing that does worry me, it is that. But, God, it was one of their, like, most critically acclaimed releases from the entirety of what was the DC universe. God, one of my favorite things by a stretch. I mean, I fucking love that show. I would probably break into some offices and try to like steal the files to finish that show.
Yeah. Have you watched My Adventures with Superman yet?
No, I have not.
I mean, the first couple of episodes are out on Max. And they're going to keep uploading to Max the day after they come out on Adult Swim. But it's already been renewed for a second season.
Cool. A lot of people, there was real positive reviews about it.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Andre Sparks wrote in and weighed in on it. He says, after the first 2 episodes, I think it will be a good show. First thing a lot of people are talking about is the intro of the suit. For the suit transformation, I would say it's nanotechnology. Same way Iron Man transformed in Infinity War. Better way to suit up. No phone booths anymore. I always thought the wearing the suit under the clothes was weird. I was told Jim Lee first introduced this idea in the New 52 run of Superman. Secondly, this show makes you remember the importance of Clark Kent, normal man. I really think James Gunn will make Clark more important in his movie because I did realize there wasn't a lot of Clark Kent in the Snyderverse. There was a hell of a lot more if you watched the extended edition of BVS, but moving on.
Yeah.
Andre says, and do you all realize who that was at the end? No, because I haven't watched it
yet. No, and hopefully I'll catch up with you when I do watch it. I will watch it in the short term for sure.
Yeah,
I'm
my wife is out of town. We were going to watch it together, but
I got a little hooked on the last season of Jack Ryan over the weekend, and I'm going to have to chew on that bone for a second.
Right, and like I just said, my wife is out of town. She had no interest in watching the Miss Maisel show. And I've been wanting to watch it. So
you're tied up.
She went out of town and I've just been like plowing it.
Yeah.
Just going through it like wild. So, and also we were going to watch the Superman cartoon when she came back. So
sure. Yeah.
We'll get there.
That's probably like, I'll throw that on with my daughter at some point. Like probably this weekend or something. And like she'll get distracted at some point and walk away, and I'll just turn the volume up a little bit. Like, yeah, my time to concentrate now. Yeah. I heard 2 major things as far as like my feeds go. Is one that there was some kerfuffle about the underwear and a slightly awkward conversation about that, and I kind of thought, yeah, I mean that's always a thing, so whatever. And it is still basically based on the comments I've read, just an argument about whether you like this animation style or not. And I'm probably going to side on the side of not, because just the anime style in general. I've just never been like it's aesthetically it just doesn't work for me. Like things move too fast and too slow at the same time. It's just not my favorite. But
Yeah.
But that being said, like when a story is good, I'm still into the story. And when it's an animation I don't like, and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna dislike the show at all, even if I don't dig the animation altogether.
Yeah. Speaking of which, did you see that trailer for Suicide Squad Isekai?
Uh-uh.
They're doing a Suicide Squad anime, man.
Funny.
To me,
That's a property that would do really well in anime.
Right? And by the way, Isekai translates into English as different world. And it very clearly looks like there's some kind of alternate universe thing going on, or some pocket universe, something. But it's like most of the trailer it's like one shot of Amanda Waller, and then like a lot of just Harley doing different shit, and like Joker driving somehow by playing piano. He's got like a normal mouth, like a little tiny anime mouth, but he's got like a giant Joker grin painted over it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I'm digging the designs, but I like all the different versions of these things, and I love seeing how they how different people translate those characters. I'm gonna send you a link to the trailer actually right now. They're also gonna be in the show notes. So if someone hasn't seen it, they can pop over there and look. I think it looks really cool. It says currently scheduled for a release sometime in 2024. Eri Asada will be directing Suicide Squad Isekai for Wit Studio. This is the same studio behind Attack on Titan's first 3 seasons, Spy X Family, and more. I don't know most of these names, so I'm not even going to try it. And the music actually in the trailer sounds really cool. I'm really down for that music. It sounds almost like Cowboy Bebop. It says...
I'm watching the visuals. I can't turn on the audio right this second because
it's just music.
Flood the mic, but still.
Yeah. It's just like...
That is funny. He really is
jazz.
just driving a piano car. And the dumbest part about that is like that's not impossible. Like it's really not. I can think of a way to do it. I couldn't program this to save my life, but I'm absolutely certain it can be done.
Probably.
Like I've driven cars with a keyboard, with a computer keyboard in a game. Tell me I can't transfer that to a keyboard?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know. So it keeps saying series, so I guess it's going to be a show? But it says DC's Harley Quinn, the Joker, and the Suicide Squad rampage onto the stage of Isekai in the new original anime series from Warner Brothers Japan and Wit Studio, Suicide Squad Isekai. The most maddening worlds collide in an epic and violent fantasy with the strongest lineup of anime creators. I mean, it looks cool to me, man. I like weird shit, so I'm down for that.
Just watching it, I get it. Like, my problem with anime is generally like the blocking and the motion. It doesn't typically have to do with how it's drawn. Although I don't love like the giant eyes and all that, and some like overt like I don't know, kind of I don't know what the word I want here is, like the stereotypical anime kind of shit where giant eyes and tiny mouths and all that. Yeah, it feels disproportionately, and it's just weird to me. But
you loved Batman the Animated Series, and they did the same thing.
I know, and it's a little more truncated of a version of that, and even this defies my problem with that. It's still, watching the trailer, I still don't love the way the motion happens. It jars me for some reason. But the actual, if I'm pausing on any given frame, it's gorgeous. Like I've been doing that while I was giving that little mini speech, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Which is funny to me because so much anime looks like it. So much of Zack Snyder's work just looks like a live action anime to me, in the movements and like the cinematography and the framings. Like that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. And that may be a neat thing that I could use as like a portal to try to get into that style a little bit more. Maybe I could, like reframe some of that in my head.
Yeah. And, part of anime is, part of the big eyes in anime is, showing the expressions of the characters successfully. That's how they're doing it. It's sort of like how, old-timey actors, when TV was first starting, they were like super dramatic because they were used to playing to the back seats in theater. And that's what, to keep the animation costs down and keep it from looking bad in animation, they're not going to draw all these like lines and stuff all over the characters' faces, but they will like make the eyes super expression giving, like I don't know what
Expressive.
I'm saying exactly, but expressive. Yeah. That's the word I was looking for.
You were getting there. If I'd given you a couple seconds, I'm sure you'd lit there.
So you can really get what the character is feeling through the eyes rather than.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's slightly cost effective, and but there's also, and part of me kind of, before I understood that this was a real thing, I think I understood it on a fundamental level. Like there's some manipulation to that, like if you kind of embiggen the eyes, you basically get this effect where you're like, as humans, we relate to that more.
Yeah.
It's like the reason you like, children and puppies and kittens more than you should, realistically, because they're terrible. Like, objectively, they're just kind of like they literally just kind of shit all over you and make a hassle. But then you look into their little puppy dog eyes. Oh, there's a base human instinct. I forget what it's called, but it is a biological instinct that's been recorded that you have more forgiveness, more empathy with those kind of things. But also, like, I think it is just the motion. I think that's what jars me a little bit. Like somebody will be on one side of the screen, and then there's there's 3 black marks, like streaks in the back of the screen, and they magically turn and they're over here now. And okay.
Yeah, I go back and forth on it. Like it
could be a theater kid upbringing for me too. Like I had to actually get people from one side to the other. No Deus Ex Machina of animation was going to save me from getting a motherfucker to the other side of that fucking stage without lighting him correctly.
Well, American animation does that.
I mean, yeah, there's that. But normally they just kind of hide it with like a scene cut and a close up. You don't use like literally the streaks in the background and the weird flashy thing that looks like a Bob Ross painting in the background.
I mean, you look at like Looney Tunes, you see them like put their arms in their leg in the appropriate position, and then they were just like, and you see little lines and papers. And shit
you'd
flying
see
around.
The papers or the little the flowy marks that looks like a little nuclear bomb behind where their feet were, and then you'd see the same animation, 8 times in the background before they got to the new destination. Before Roadrunner did, frankly, if we're talking about most of the time.
Yeah, I was thinking about like Bugs Bunny like running away from Elmer Fudd.
Yeah,
and like, but he starts running and he's not even moving, but like the ground is like wrinkling like it's a fabric or whatever, and then the mud just flies up in Elmer's face, and he like
it's fresh sod under his feet.
Yeah.
Anyway. I mean, those are just fun visual gags, though, and to me, that's a little different from like a visual medium where that is it's the language they speak in as a visual medium, not just Japanese typically. I mean, like that's the medium, and like it just never quite translated to me. I think there's probably a way in for me, but I've never quite put my finger on it.
Well, that's interesting, man. I don't know, but I'm down to watch this. I'm excited to see what the hell it is, because I'm not exactly sure. But
I get it. I'm not sure I would try that one, just based on my lack of interest and lack of time. But I'm curious. Let me know if it really dug in for you, and I'll probably try it if you want to.
Yeah, like I can tell you, like I watched the what was it, the Batman Samurai or whatever the hell it was called. And that is not for you.
No.
That is pretty weird.
No, and like anyone who's heard what I've said here and later watches that and says like, no, I heard what you said, but seriously, you need to try this. And I don't mean that on the basis of like, seriously, you need to try it because I know you don't like all these things, but this is really cool. No, I mean, I had I was in a deep relationship with someone who said I needed to watch their favorite movie, which was Cowboy Bebop, and I hated it.
It was a show.
Or show, sorry. I hated it. It's not that. I'm not just going to watch it because I think I might get laid. Like, that's not the point. It actually has to be something that's like an intro part for me where I can get into it because I'm open to it. But
yeah, fair enough, man. I don't have anything else.
Yeah, I think I'm out to. Oh, you'll like this. There's a rumor about gargoyles coming to life, but it's only in rumor
About
form
what?
right now.
About what?
Gargoyles.
Oh, gargoyles.
Did you watch that one?
No, I didn't. I know Greg Weisman did it, and I had several friends who were into it. It never appealed to me.
Oh, yeah, it was gothic in a way, and that was always my thing as a kid. You know,
Yeah.
Halloween tangent or Halloween adjacent. I mean, I'm curious. That's in rumor form right now, but I was wondering if you actually like that show.
Yeah, I never watched it. The intro looked cool, but I didn't care.
The intro did have some slapping music, if I recall that correctly.
It was one of those things where it was like the intro looked really cool, and then like the show looked like shit. So I was just like, I don't care. But it was sort of like Savage Dragon, the animated series, where the intro looked like anime, and then once it started, it was like old G.I. Joe look, and I'm like,
See, neither of those animation styles appeal to me at all. I hated G.I. Joe. Or G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe?
G.I. Joe. I hated Giga Joe growing up.
It was G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
And started Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck.
In computer terms, it was 1,000 G.I. Joes. Just wasn't my thing.
Yeah. I mean, I did watch G.I. Joe when I was really little. I don't remember anything about it, or Transformers. All I remember about Transformers is that I couldn't understand why they wouldn't have a crossover with the GoBots.
Yeah. I did. I forget who I was talking to. Just a random reference I made where I was like, all right, it's like the fucker's a bad Transformer. And then I kind of stopped and like they didn't understand what I was saying. I was like, that's redundant. I'm pretty sure I mean Decepticon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, they were all Transformers. So you're right.
Oh, okay.
Because it was
So
the
they're just evil
Decepticons and the Autobots.
But then you had the Decepticons, which was like a particular clan of evil piece of shit Transformers? Or
the good Transformers were the Autobots.
Oh, okay.
The bad ones were the Decepticons.
But they all transform.
Yeah, they're all Transformers.
Yeah.
They were all more than meets the eye.
Yeah. I always wanted to be like, no, you're exactly what meets the eye. You just move around a lot.
Uh-huh.
Like, I saw you before. It's like you shuffled a deck of cards and put them back in the deck. Like, you're still 52 cards.
I saw a funny comic strip online. There was like a couple of Transformers walking, and one of them points and says, "Look, a human in trouble!" And they become like a car and a truck, and they just like speed right past this guy getting his ass kicked.
Just fuck right off.
And like turn the corner and go back to into their humanoid form. They're like, all right, well.
All right. Didn't want to get involved in that shit. I like that take. Just trying to live our lives, dude.
I also like the bit. I don't remember what it was from. Maybe it was a Family Guy or something, but it was like kid in a Transformer, guy in a Transformer, whatever, as a truck, and then like it becomes the Transformer, and you just like hear bones crushing and blood like pouring out of different orifices as they transform.
Nice.
What was it from? Anyway.
I don't remember, but I do remember that. Podcast I listened to was talking about how sad it would be. This is This Paranormal Life, if you're curious. And I really enjoy the show. Talking about how sad it would be if just no one realized that there was that much water on this planet. And so the first time Optimus Prime or Optimus tries to transform into a boat, he just dies on impact with the water.
Uh-huh.
And you just have a bunch of children on shore nudging him, hoping that he'll say, "Let's roll one more time," or whatever his catchphrase is. Let's
funny.
roll out or something.
That's funny and reminds me of Race Bannon dying on the Venture Brothers.
Oh, what was he? I know that name.
Race Bannon was...
They're all caricatures of, our childhood. I remember that.
Yeah, Race Bannon was the basically the Brock of Johnny Quest. It's who Brock was based on. And they do this whole storyline where like at the beginning in the teaser, he's like fighting guys on a plane like Race Bannon would, and he jumps and his parachute doesn't open, and he just like slams into the ground in the middle of a park.
I remember that.
And then like
there's kids tugging at him.
And then the parachute like opens. And then like the wind kept catching the parachute and dragging his dead body.
Yeah.
So they'll be cut to like the kids are like all like riding him like he's a fair ride or something.
God, that was a fun show.
I'm gonna call this. We're not talking about DC anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's Warner Brothers.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you so much for listening to our show. And
about whatever the fuck it was at the last few minutes.
Yeah. Patreon.com/DC on screen. If you haven't already, go subscribe to us on your podcatcher. Throw us one of those 5-star reviews
Stitcher.
wherever the hell.
Do not subscribe on Stitcher.
Don't on Stitcher, no. And we'll be back soon. Until then, keep some DC on your screen. Hey, thanks for listening to DC on Screen. Our theme song is by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford of Galactic Engineers. The incidental music is by Michael Shackelford and Kevin MacLeod. You can rate the show on Spotify or rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. Doing that really helps push our show to new listeners, so your help would be much appreciated. You can also contact the show at DC On Screen on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or email us at dconscreen@gmail.com. To become a patron and get ad-free episodes and exclusive content, go to patreon.com/DCOnScreen. Your reviews and feedback may end up on a future episode of DC On Screen. DC On Screen is a production of Maladjusted.tv in association with Stranded Panda. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever damn platform you use.